Hi everybody, Ruthie Grain with Stampin' Arkansas here. My production manager, Mike Grain, and myself have had many a discussion, and we're not really happy with the Facebook Lives, and he does videos all the time. So he's going to put together my videos from now on. So in the beginning, you'll get to see me a little bit, and then we'll switch to the hands-on so that you can see what I'm doing. So I would like to welcome each of you in today, and yesterday was an exciting day in Stampin' Up. They announced the retirement list. Now I did post those lists on my Facebook page. You can go Facebook and search Stampin' Arkansas. The forms have a very small font, and I apologize, there's no way to make that font bigger. Just be sure you've got your readers with you. And let me know if there's anything that you want to order. Those retired lists are only while supplies last. So certain stamp sets, certain inks are going to sell out really, really fast. Go to www.stampinarkansas.stampinup.net and you can order directly from there online, and your products will come directly to you. So I would like to teach you a new technique. I guess it's not a new technique, it's been around. It's called Scrappy Strip Technique. This is a card using Scrappy Strips. These strips were cut 1 1/4 inches wide, and I used the Noble Peacock, Rich Razzleberry, and this is So Saffron. And I just cut 2 of each color so that I knew I had plenty. And I'm going to show you how I cut these strips in just a minute, but I'd like to show you some other cards. I also did this one, only having the strips go this way. This was one of the papers that were offered during celebration. The roses are beautiful. They're embossed in a copper, and all of the leaf work is done embossed with a silver, and it's just very pretty. And then I used my blends, the lovely lipsticks, to color everything, and a Granny Apple Green for the leaves. And this is with the strips going the horizontal way. The one I'm going to show you today how to do is this one. And I had not used my Magnolia stamp yet. It did carry over into the new catalog, so I'm very happy about that. But I wanted to do more monochromatic, or neutrals, if you will. So I used basic gray, is this darker gray. This gray is called Smoky Slate, and this is our Whisper White. So let me get started and show you how to do this. So my base that I'm going to build my strips on is 4 inches wide by 5 1/4. And here are my strips. These are 2 basic grays that I have cut, and Smoky Slate, and the Whisper White. So let me show you how we cut these. Bring in my trimmer. And these I only cut to 1 inch wide. As you'll see, both in the floral one and this one, the strips were much more narrow than in the first one here. These were 1 1/4 inch wide, and I think I like it when they're a little narrower. So these strips were only 1 inch wide. Okay, so what we're going to do is place your strip in here. This is the guide where the blade cuts. So you place it in there at an angle. This is where it's going to cut, and then I'm going to swivel this around to there. And this does not have to be perfect. You don't want to do it from corner to corner. That would give you too perfect. But when they're really pointed, they just don't go down really well. So we're just off of that. And again, this is not a precise thing. You just want to get that in there and then come up with your cutting blade and go through it, and you get 2 wedge shapes like this. Now what I do with this, I do bring them over and lay them here at the bottom because I'm going to use them in this order. Then take my next strip. I've got it off center. And then down there, this would be the wider part of the triangle, and this would be more of the point. You just get it over your cutting area, hold it down with your cover, and cut through that one. And again, none of these are going to be cut exactly the same. I'm going to cut another strip of that one. Put that in there like that. Are you starting to see how that's the narrow end, this is the wider end. Hold it down there and cut right up through it. And I'll lay this one here. And now I'll get one of my white strips cut. Okay, just like that. Okay, I think I have enough to get started here. So I'm going to take my first strip and put some adhesive. Again, I try to go along the edge. And now this is going to overlap, and I want to come down right to the edge of my paper. Like that, okay? Then my next strip, and you alternate. Here's the wide end, and then now it's going to be a narrow end. So I brought in the smoky slate now. Mr. Mike, am I all on camera here?
You are.
Okay, thank you, sir. And now this is where you want to leave just a little bit of a gap. I left a really, really narrow gap the last time, so I think I'm going to open it up just a little bit. But you see how both this end and this end go off my paper. That's all right. I'm going to grab a piece of scrap paper here. We'll be able to have a little contrast underneath these neutral colors here. All right, so now my next color would be the white, and we're going to go back to having the wide end on the left hand side. So flip it over to put my adhesive on there and just bring it down, and you want to try to have the same amount of spacing. You know, this black strip showing through should be the same almost each time. Now I'm going to go back and repeat my pattern here and put the basic gray, the darkest gray, and the widest part is over here now. And again, about the same black space showing. There's nothing that you need to measure, it's just by eye. The next color strip is the smoky slate with the wide triangle to the left, or the wide end, I should say, to the left. Our next strip is the basic gray again, the darkest one. I'm flipping it around so that my widest part is to the right. All right, then our smoky slate strip is next. I did something wrong. This was supposed to be a white strip. You gotta watch me in my patterns here. All right, so at least I caught it early. That would have really messed us up if I'd gotten several pieces ahead. Okay, so white is after the smoky slate, so it's going down here. Now I can bring in this basic gray again. So we're going to do basic gray, smoky slate, goes right here. And then hopefully I only need one more strip. I need to come back over here to cut it. So again, down at the narrow and making this end wider. Okay. Put my adhesive on. And this one ends with the wide strip to the left and the narrow strip to the right. Okay, so we've got all of our pieces. Now what we do is take our snips, flip it over, and we're going to cut all of these pieces that are sticking out. So I am just running my scissors right up against that cardstock and cutting everything flush with it. And this one was the top piece, so I even have extra along the top that I'm going to be cutting off. That last little piece sometimes is kind of a funky piece to deal with. It's sometimes much smaller of a piece. And then same thing over here, cutting all of the excess pieces off, flush with my cardstock. Okay, so now that I've got all those excess pieces cut off, this is what our front piece looks like. Doesn't that look really neat with the black shining up through? I really like that. But I'm going to make this pop a little bit more on the card. So I'm bringing in a mat here, and this one is just a little bit bigger than our working mat that we used. This one measures 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. And now I can run my adhesive around the edges of my main piece. And we're going to put it on top of this, and it's just going to leave, about maybe 1/16 of an inch all the way around. But now look how that pops. The whole piece pops with the black showing around the edges too. Okay? So here was my one with the magnolia. And then here's this one. You could decorate this with any of your stamp sets that you've got. Now, this did not have a framelit, so I fussy cut all of this, but it was very easy to do. And then I'm going to place this on top of here to complete the card. This is my card base, and it measures 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. You could pop this up if you wanted to. I'm just going to attach it. It already has a couple of layers of cardstock, which makes it stand up on its own even. And then I'm going to bring this in here and just match that up onto the front of the card base like that. And there's my card. It would even be nice to leave it like this. You could even stamp a sentiment right inside here. And just like I did on this, I used some of our bling. And what I did was I colored the rhinestones with my dark smoky slate marker. So these aren't quite as bright and shiny as they come out of the package. I thought it kind of matched my monochromatic papers a little bit better. So I colored these with the dark smoky slate and then put them on there. So have fun. I hope you get out some scraps and cut some strips. Play with the width of your strips. Again, these were 1 inch wide. The other card that I did here, these were 1 1/4 inch wide, so it doesn't take as many strips. And then this one, I did the long way, so I cut my strips 5 1/2 inches to work with across here. Thanks for checking in today, everyone. I appreciate you watching my videos. Please leave a comment if you will. I love seeing what you have to say about the techniques that I'm doing. And if you have any questions, you can get in touch with me. Down below, we have both my YouTube channel, which I have just started, and my Facebook page where you can find these videos. Thank you very much. Bye now.